February, and it's time to make something romantic. And who doesn't love a lava cake? So today I'm going to be showing you a simple lava cake recipe. To get started, we're first going to need to get the ramekins ready. So before we start melting this butter down, we're just going to go ahead and peel it and rub it around into all 6 of these ramekins. And then after that, we're just going to take a little bit of flour and get that all into each of these so that we can have it nice and basically when you make lava cakes, we don't want it to get stuck in the pan. We want to be able to take it out and flip it over and have it. And the flour and the butter is going to ensure that it's not sticking in here. I've tried just cooking spray before because I know I'm lazy too, but it doesn't seem to do the thing. So the rest of the butter is just going to go in with our chocolate chips, which we'll talk about in a second, so you can just put it there. And then what's best next, I'll be right back actually. Okay. And then you want to have some sort of bowl to catch the rest of the flour after you put it in, because basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the flour, shake it in here, and kind of just make sure it gets everywhere, all around. And then that gets dumped out, and we're just going to do that for all of these ramekins. Just making sure that all areas are coated so that they should come out nice and easy. All right, so they're all coated except for one. And then we're ready to go on to the next step. Now, to make a lava cake, there are many ways to do it. We are going to do the method that I think is the easiest, and that is basically having a slightly undercooked cake. To make that, we need to melt down some chocolate and butter. So I have 6 ounces of chocolate, and I have some butter that I'm going to cook over a double boiler. If you've never used a double boiler before, essentially what we want is steam to cook it. So the key steps of using a double boiler is that you should never have the pot touch or the water touching the bottom of the bowl, because that's going to be direct heat. We want indirect heat. Also, I like using glass because it doesn't hold the heat as much, so I can hold it with my hands and not burn myself. So we're going to put this on and just stir it around until everything is dissolved. Now this takes a while, but after a little bit it's going to look like a little chocolate waterfall from Willy Wonka. So we'll just let this dissolve. And while it's dissolving, as I mentioned, there's 2 ways of making this. Essentially, at the same time in 2 different places, 2 different chefs were trying to make a very similar dessert. One guy underbaked it, and they got lava cakes, and it was very successful, and people loved it. And another guy spent years trying to figure it out, and what he did is he froze an orb of chocolate, and then he put a frozen orb of chocolate inside of a cake and bake it. That method takes a lot more time. You have to plan a day in advance to be able to melt down the chocolate, form it into the ball, and then freeze it. So this is a simpler recipe if you're like last minute, I want a lava cake, or last minute, it's Valentine's Day and I forgot about it, or something like that. If you break down the butter, it'll get cooked faster. And while this is waiting, we can go ahead and start working on the other ingredients. So this cake is going to have a couple eggs in there, as well as some sugar and some flour. So I'm going to move these to the side and we can start working on the next step. So in this bowl, I need 2 whole eggs and I need 2 egg yolks. Now, if you've never separated an egg yolk, I'm going to show you a trick to make it even easier on you and less messy. All you need is an empty water bottle. So as I mentioned in this recipe, I need 2 whole eggs, so we can go ahead and crack those into our bowl right now. And then, always in a separate bowl, because you don't want to make a mistake and then ruin 4 eggs. You just want to do them all individually. We're going to crack our eggs that we need for the egg whites into a smaller bowl. Just drop it in. Yes, you can do the back and forth method, but if you do have a water bottle, you just take the water bottle, you squeeze it, go over top of the egg yolk, and somehow science works and it sucks it up. Then you can just drop this egg yolk directly into your bowl. And you have just the egg yolk, and we got the whites right here. So we'll do that one more time with our final egg white so you can see that. Sorry, egg yolk. So once again, crack it in to the bowl. Squeeze the bottle, put it over top of the egg yolk. Suck it up, tilt it a little bit to get all the egg white out. And we got our egg yolk. Simple, no worries about it cracking or anything like that. Now you can use those egg whites to do whatever you want. Maybe, you know, nice little breakfast, an omelet with an egg white omelet would be nice. But don't throw them away. There's always tons of uses for egg whites. So just coming over to stir this chocolate. It's definitely melting down. It's taking its time, but we're getting there. So we'll start going back to the eggs mixture. With the eggs, we want it to be nice, light, and fluffy. So it's going to take some time to whisk. We're going to add our sugar to this mixture and just whisk it up until it looks pale and yellow, and you'll see. So just whisking it together. Until it's very pale. And now I know what you're thinking. We're baking a cake and we're undercooking it. How is that safe to eat? Long story short, yes, raw eggs are not safe to eat, but eggs take a while to coagulate, so they are technically safe to eat even if they're not like fully hard. Like a lot of people eat sunny side up eggs. Those egg yolks are cooked to the point where there's no longer any concern of bacteria, but they're obviously not hard. So we're basically, if you're thinking of it, we're doing basically the same thing with this. It's getting cooked to the point where we don't need to worry about it getting anybody sick, but it is still runny because that's what we're looking for in a lava cake. The final step after this is to add the chocolate and the butter. The step of adding the chocolate is very, very particular, so you need to make sure that you follow this step or you might end up with scrambled eggs. We need to temper the eggs. What that means is we are not adding all this chocolate at once. If we add all that chocolate at once, those eggs are going to immediately cook. It's kind of like when you go into a pool, you jump into a pool, you cool down faster than if you're putting one foot in at a time. We want these to get adjusted to it, so we are going to slowly add the chocolate in, mix it. I call it the peer pressure method because then the eggs are going to be like, ooh, I like this. You should try it too. And then as they try it, they'll get more comfortable with it, and then they'll all, take to the heat a little bit more than they would have by themselves. So this chocolate is almost melted. You can see it's looking nice. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat now because I don't think we need it right now. There's enough steam in here to cook it. Can you melt chocolate just in the microwave and do this method? Yes, you can, but there is more of a chance that you're going to overheat the chocolate in the microwave. So I always tell my students to do this method just because it's more foolproof. With the indirect heat, it's not going to have a higher chance of burning. Chocolate is an emulsion, so if you melt it a certain way, it's going to separate and you're going to get like oil and then cocoa powder, which is not appetizing, and it's not shiny like this. It's not what you want. So you can microwave it, do it like 30 seconds, stir it. But if you go over, every 30 seconds, stir it, check it. But if you go over just a little bit, it can ruin the whole product. So this, you have more control over, and that's why I like to use a double boiler method. Okay, we're at the point where almost all the chocolate is dissolved. We just got a little bit of butter that we're waiting on. I have my oven preheated to 450 degrees because this is like a shot cook. We're doing it at high heat. For a short period of time. It only takes 8 minutes for these to cook once they're in the oven, and that is to ensure that that center is lava-like and the outside is nice and firm. So I'm going to grab a hot pad to take this off because even though it doesn't conduct heat, it is getting kind of warm. And we'll move this water away. And then as I said, we're just going to slowly drizzle, I'll move this over a little bit. We're going to slowly drizzle a little bit of chocolate into the eggs, just a little bit like that, just a little dash. We're adding a little bit of chocolate to the eggs and stirring it. We want to make sure that these don't look like scrambled eggs. So if at any point I start to see the eggs getting more solidified and chunky, I've done this wrong. So In that case, I'm sorry, but you have to start over. There's no way to fix it. Or you can just eat a cake with scrambled eggs in it. Not my choice, but if that's what you want to do, no judgment. So we'll add a little bit more of this chocolate in. Mix that around again. And at this point, the eggs should be getting used to that temperature that we could dump it all in. I don't want to risk it, so we're just going to keep adding it in slowly to make sure that it's all coming up to the right temperature. The goal is that the chocolate and the eggs look like one thing and not like two separate things. Okay, at this point, I think we're good. I can dump the rest of the chocolate in. Make sure we scrape all the good bits out so that we're not leaving any chocolate behind. Whisk that together, and there's just one ingredient left, and that's 2 tablespoons of flour. So we'll just incorporate that into here now. And we're ready to get it into the ramekins and get it baking. Okay, just making sure everything's incorporated, there's no clumps in there, and we are good to go. So as I said, make sure these ramekins are nicely floured, otherwise when you go to flip it, it might not work too well. So we'll just dump this in to each of them. We don't want to go all the way to the top. Okay. And these would be good too if there's just 2 of you and you make, this makes a batch of 6. If you'd like to, these do, at this point, you could freeze them. And they would last for a couple months in the freezer. And then when you're ready for a lava cake, you do need to remember to get them out and let them fully thaw. I wouldn't cook them from frozen. Well, I've never cooked them from frozen, so I don't know exactly how that would work. But you can freeze them for however long you need them to, and just, the day before, maybe 2 days before, get them out, and you're ready to go. So we'll get these into the oven. Like I said, it's about 6 minutes. Take them out, and we'll try to flip them, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so I think they're about ready to come out, so we'll get my hot pads, and we'll look at these. Okay, so how do you know if a lava cake's done? You don't want to poke through it, because then all the lava is going to come out. So if you just jiggle it a little bit, you should see that the center is kind of wiggling, but it's mostly solidified. So now we just want to let these sit for like a minute just to cool down. 1, for your hands for getting it out, and 2, to let everything kind of carry over cooking, because it is still cooking even though it's out of there. Some people have asked me before, could I refrigerate these, or could I freeze these fully cooked? I wouldn't. I can't guarantee the texture would look like, because you'd have to heat it back up, and that, as these sit even for longer, they're going to cook more and more. So this isn't something that you you make it and then wait an hour and then eat it. It's a pretty immediate food. So in the meantime, I got some garnish that we'll go ahead and get set up on this plate so we can make it look all pretty. I'll just set up some strawberries, and then I got a little whipped cream to put on top once it's on. But the last step is the flipping, which is nerve-wracking, because you never know. It's either going to come out or it's not. If you really are intimidated by that, yes, you could eat them out of the pan, but at the same time, it's not going to have that effect of the oozing lava coming out. So we'll wait a little bit longer, and then we'll get them checked out. I think it's time to flip it. Once again, these are hot, so you don't want to just grab them with your bare hands. What I like to do is put the plate on top and kind of like wiggle it over until the point where you can pick it up with the hot pad, which is hard. And then grab the hot pad, just kind of give it you know, hold your breath a little bit because you never know. Oh, now that one didn't work out. So we'll try that again one more time. Hopefully the next one's the charm. Okay, so we'll try this one more time. Once again, we'll get the plate on top, kind of guide it over onto the plate if you can. And then try this, 1, 2, 3. And voila, this one worked. We got a little lava cake here. We haven't opened up yet, but I'm sure it's gonna look great on the inside. We'll garnish with a little bit of strawberries around, make it look nice and pretty. And it's almost time for the moment of truth. We'll put a little whipped cream on top. You can make this if you want. It's up to you, do you? So once again, the idea is we cut into it and we see that oozy layer. Let's see if we get that. Oh, you can see it leaking out there a little bit. That is a lava cake. Your loved one's gonna love this. It's a great Valentine's Day meal. Like you saw, it doesn't take very long to make. You got a little oozing cake. It's a great way to show your love for someone. So find this recipe online and try it out, and we'll see you next time for another episode of Passport to Flavor.